Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Marvin Fuentes, the founder of Found AI. We're helping businesses operate smarter, automate the boring stuff, and scale with intention. Today, I am joined by Taylor Chastain. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, so I'm Taylor Chastain. I own Up and Away Junk Hauling in Metro Atlanta. And I mean, heck, you want me to give you the backstory here, Marvin?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Awesome. So, like any good redneck, when I get, in high school, I need to make some money. I buy my first pickup truck and I start cutting grass, just like everybody else, right? And so at 17, started doing that. Turns out I hate cutting grass. Uh, I could not care any less for landscaping. Also, turns out I'm allergic to grass. So between every job, I'm sitting in my beat up truck with no AC, breaking out in hives, having a terrible time. But, I committed to my customers and nobody can find a landscaping guy in July in Georgia. So I stuck it out, and one of my landscaping customers said, "Hey, we have our toilets redone. Can you take these toilets to the dump?" I said, "Sure, where's the dump?" They gave me the address, gave me 20 bucks. I drove to the dump, backed in, threw the toilets on the ground, and they shattered. And I went, "That was fun." And my next thought was, I bet I could get paid for this. And so that was the summer of 2014, and I've been hauling junk since then. For a while, just as kind of a side gig, make some money, get through college, whatever. And then decided to really get serious about it, 2019, 2020. And we've been putting the pedal to the metal since then, growing the team, growing the customer base, and taking care of all kinds of stuff that people don't want.
Taylor, what does a typical day look like for you now?
For me,
Yes.
man, it depends on the day. I can tell you about today. That's a pretty good
Sure.
snapshot. We had an early start today for certain customer needs, so all six of the guys showed up here at 5:15. So I met them. They headed off to the job. I went and did an estimate at 6 o'clock that I had lined up. Thankfully, I didn't have to meet anybody. I just had to look at some stuff. Then I ran across town, had a 7:45 meeting. I ran to the dump to help the guys out get a truck empty. Went to a business networking event for one of the community associations. I'm on the board of the association. So I went to that, went and met a client, and now I'm here talking to you. So a lot of it is, you know, quoting, marketing, customer relationships, and I mean, obviously this is part of marketing. So that's what most of my day is spent on. And then because I'm a junk man at heart and having done this for 11 years, my option this morning was sit at the desk and do boring paperwork or go to the dump. And I was like, it sounds like a lot more fun to go to the dump. So I did that.
Nice. Okay, so a little over a decade now that you've been doing this.
Mhm.
How big is your team now?
So we've got 14 people on the team now. Most of those are guys in trucks. We have two ladies that work in the office, and then we have like our operations managers, kind of hybrid. But yeah,
And I know we spoke about this a little earlier. What are you projected to make this year, the end of this year?
so our projection for this year is going to be 1.2 to 1.3 million. We just hit a million last week, so I feel pretty safe in those numbers. Um, so yeah, that's technically is a different question because what you actually make is different than what you sell. But that's the question most people are asking.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think has been the biggest needle mover for your business? Is there a project maybe or a decision you made?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the biggest thing has been learning to trust my guys, to really release control to them, like train them. This is the way we do things. This is the way we make decisions. And then let them make the decisions. Let them do the things, leave them alone and let them rock and roll. I mean, a great example is I was out of town. I've actually taken 4 week-long trips so far this year. Hopefully, no more because it was too much for me personally. I like to work. But, one day I'm sitting there on the beach at 4 o'clock and my ops manager texts me, "Hey, just making you aware, we had a same day come in for 200 and something tires. We're going to figure out how to make it work." Dude, I look in our thread at 5 o'clock p.m. I've got two guys on their off days, they're brothers. Take a selfie in front of the truck. Morgan boys coming in. We're going to come help you guys. And they did 8,500 bucks that day.
Amazing.
Like that's a great day, and I didn't touch a single thing because Josh can make great decisions. We got other guys in the company who are willing to step up and support, and the crews that were already on the road ran efficient crews, got ahead, and had some space for it. It's like that's great, man. Just let them do their thing. I don't have to be in control of every little thing that happens.
Amazing. On that topic, what is your criteria for delegating to your team?
I stole this framework from somebody. Most things are not mine. Get it, want it, capacity to do it. So for leadership, that is really the criteria. They have to understand what we're doing. They have to want to do what that role requires, and then they have to demonstrate that they can. And I've met guys who understand what we're doing, they understand what the role is, but they just can't do it. It's like, well, you can't be in the role. So that for leadership, that's the goal. And then to be on the team at all, we have to have common values, common character traits where we're aligned. I have fired people for attitude before. That's like not a super popular opinion, but if you're not demonstrating the core values, which you can't see right now, but I mean, on the top of the wall behind me are our core values. Across where my office manager sits is our mission statement. It's like, so if you can't demonstrate hard work, reliability, encouragement, and open-handedness, you can't be on the team, period. So that's a baseline.
How do you guys find clients currently?
How do we find clients? Um, I thought you were going to say, how do you find guys? Um, man, we find clients under every rock that we can, right? The something we talked about when we were setting this up is a unique thing about us is we are not particularly heavily invested in Google. In the last month, I've spent like maybe $1,000. And like I said, we're averaging about $100,000 months right now, pretty much all summer, if not a little more. So it's like we're not super invested with Google. We'll do a little bit of Google local service ads. It's like a good capacity tool. Flip it on when we can get there today, tomorrow, flip it off when we can't. Pay per click, I bid on my own keywords and that's it. The pay per click campaigns. So just compared to everything else that we're able to do through, what we like to say is like 1990s marketing. The 1990s marketing works, networking works, consistency works, cold calling works, networking groups work. Like all of that stuff, if given the right amount of effort and attention, work. So, have used July as a case study for us. July was a record month. We did 137,000 in July. Total on digital anything, including management fees, I spent $4,000. 37 exactly was a direct result of that $4,000, which is fine. It's a great return on investment. Also, $100,000 of that work was from relationships. So it's like, obviously, I know where my bread is buttered. Like, if you look at those numbers, it's a clear story, right? So, yeah, we're heavily involved in the community. I mean, the guys are even out, they're doing a pickup right now for somebody who their church was going to pay for the pickup. They're disabled and in a bad situation. It's like the church didn't come through, so we're going to come through. We're just going to go do a load for free for them. We're not going to shove cameras in their face. Our media guys are not there. Like, this will probably be the only place I'll talk about it because it's happening today. But aside from that, like, one of our values is open-handedness. So if the community needs something, we say yes. And those things over a long period of time go a really long way and create great relationships to where it's not that hard to keep working with people.
So I know you guys make content. How do you go about making content?
Oh man. So this is one. The value for me in podcasts is I'm able to take them, clip them up, and we use them on our feeds. Because we'll talk about our teams, we'll talk about our core values, like all of those stuff. All of that stuff is great for customers, right? There's no reason that core value should be a secret to customers. So that's the biggest part of content that I'm responsible for. Most of all of our social media stuff, Google stuff, goes through Jonathan. He's one of our team leads, but then he also has an add-on responsibility of doing social media and some Google business profile and all that. He's a content junkie. He is always telling the guys, like, I need this, I need that, it needs to look this way. Pull out your phone, set your camera this way. I mean, he's very diligent with them. And so, I mean, he was even off for the summer. He went on a traveling thing personally. He was still posting pretty much every day. And when he got back from the summer, he hadn't used any of the content the guys had given him. He'd already backlogged 2 months of content that was all you would never would have known it was backlogged.
Wow.
So he's a rock star. So really just trying to keep him abreast of whatever I run into that's like current trends and best practices. Aside from that, he crushes it. And then Amanda kind of runs our website content. Every week she's putting up new content on the website that is either for the public or for specific industries we work with. And then she has strategies to get that information out to the members of our list that are within those specific subgroups of clients.
So to me, it sounds like you have a rock star of a team.
Yeah,
How do you go about acquiring these rock stars?
there it is. That's the question I was thinking was coming earlier. Um, dude, I can't take a lot of credit for it. I wish I could, man, but I have run, I have put up one job posting in 5 years.
Wow.
It's just not a problem. So, a tremendous amount of, and funny enough, I put up the job posting, I interviewed the people who applied, yada, yada, yada. The two people I hired, one was a referral from a team member, the other was a referral from one of my networking groups. So, like, when I need to hire, I just turn all my networking towards hiring. And I tell stories that demonstrate characteristics of an exemplary up and away hero, which our values spell hero. So we talk about values. And then so if I say, okay, Jackson was on this project, it was hour 12. I'm there with Jackson. We're sweating it out. It's brutal. We're all kind of sad because it stinks. And the customer walks in. How's it going? Jackson sticks his head up. It's going great. We're having a good time. Like, awesome. Like, do you have a nephew who is cannot help but be positive? I'd love to talk to him. If he can pick up a box of books, he can work with me. And so hiring that way has been super effective. Referrals from teammates has been super effective. I've got two people on my team that I go to church with, so that's great. Um, and even like, and we even asked the guys, like, this was funny. We did an internal employee net promoter score survey last year around Christmas. And we asked the question on a scale of 0 to 10, how likely are you to refer your friends to work here and why? We had somebody respond with a 5. And I was like, what? Like, I think we have a good culture. And in the description, he said, none of my friends are good enough to work here.
Ooh.
It's like, dang. Or they already do, because he has several friends that are here. I was like, well, can't be mad at that, man. Thank you for protecting the culture. And guess what? The one person he referred to us this year, which was just for a couple of weeks for a big project, that one guy rocked. And I knew he rocked because he drove 2 hours from South Georgia to come work with us for 2 days in a row. It's like, dude, can you move up here, bro? I would totally hire you.
I can't help but think how the level of commitment you have there. I mean, that's just where do you think that commitment and that culture stemmed from?
I mean, I think that's one of the things that I have to be really aware of. I will definitely, I mean, I hold the core values as the standard, no matter what. I mean, when I had to let a guy go earlier this summer because one of our core values is, or two of our core values are hard work and reliability. And so we're not going to whine about getting more work thrown at us. We are here to work. Let's work. Well, and he would complain, I did the most sales today. Why do I have to pick up the extra job? Well, because our client has an emergency and you're an hour ahead. Go help them. Or, vice versa. He had a day where he got home at 3 o'clock. He did not tell dispatch he was coming home. He did not call his other partners in the field and say, hey, do you need a hand? He just literally, we just saw 3 o'clock. He clocked out and he was gone. We were like, okay. And guess what? One of the other trucks stayed out till 10 o'clock that night. You don't think they would have liked a phone call? Hey, bro, you need some help? Oh, yeah, dude, I'm in a pickle. Go out there and help your boy. That's part of being reliable. And so I literally communicated everything I just communicated to you. I said, therefore, you're not living out our core values. You agreed to uphold these core values when you signed your paperwork here. I'm going to have to let you go. And that was the end of the story. And I mean that sends a message to the other guys. Even the guy who referred him in, which I normally would not do, but I called him ahead of time. I said, "This is what I'm seeing. Am I being like way overly harsh?" No, you're right. It didn't work. It's like, whoa, this is your boy though. He's like, yeah, it's not working. It's like, okay, I'll call you back when everything is sorted out.
What does the process look like for you to reiterate all these core values? Do you guys have weekly meetings or something? How does it work?
Well, we talk about it every day.
Okay.
So our every single morning, our meeting starts with, hey, how you doing? How was yesterday? But okay, boys, let's get into it. Core values, and they rattle them off, and then we say, great. What does your day look like today? And we go through their schedules, any questions, any potential problems, and then we say, okay, great. Grab your trucks, go have fun. We always say, drive safe, have fun, be a hero. It's over our door. So we end our meeting, drive safe, have fun, be a hero, and everybody starts getting keys, credit cards, yard signs, and they hit the road. So we talk about it all the time. We talk about it at our monthly all team meetings, which are obviously more in depth than just a schedule review. And then we make decisions based off of it. I mean, like right now, we're probably a little slower than I'd like to be. And so we're trying to be real diligent about like, if we're going to send a crew out, we need to make sure this crew's day is full. Because if it's not full, I mean, what I always tell people is we don't make money. The company doesn't make money until after 2 o'clock. Because until then, we're just paying for you to exist? And so today we're going to go do that free clean out after 2 o'clock when supposedly that's when I get to make my money. But you know what? One of our core values is open-handedness. The church let this lady down, so like we're going to take care of her. So we have this conversation. And as I bring it up to the leadership team of, hey, we have this opportunity to help this person. Should we do it? Financially, it's not the right decision. They said, well, it's our core values, so we still have to do it. It's like, great. We'll figure out the money later. No big deal.
What KPIs do you normally focus on?
In regards to operations or marketing or anything.
Let's say overall.
Overall, big one for us is we want to see what our gross profit per week is. So every Monday we have a leadership meeting where we go through, what did we do last week? Sales hours, labor hours, like our disposal percent of sales, our labor percent of sales, our fuel percent of sales. Those are the big three. And based on that, you can figure out what your gross margin is. So we're tracking that every week. Production per hour per week is big. We want to see that at a certain place. On the marketing side, we want to see gross profit return on ad spend. So not just ad spend multiples, because the only dollars you have to spend on ads is your gross profit. So we want to see gross profit ROAS over 3x. Something big we track is cancellation rates, why and how those were handled, and if any of those became future opportunities. And then we also have an internal system where the guys can rate the quality of the job description per job, and they can rate the quality of their route over the course of a day. So we are checking in on that every week too to make sure that our dispatchers are giving the right information and scheduling things correctly. Obviously, there's sometimes in our business you just can't control where you go, and so yeah, your route's going to suck. Congratulations. But most of the time we can control it to a certain degree. So those are kind of the big things we're touching in on weekly.
Got it. Okay. Which area of the business do you feel like you have least control over? Is it maybe the projected revenue over the beginning of the year? Is it maybe follow-ups, customer satisfaction, or like project management? What would you say it is?
Right now, the biggest thing has been learning. We've made a big shift to doing more commercial work over the last few months. And so with that comes a new problem that I've never had to deal with before is cash flow. Because normally in junk removal, I haul junk, you give cash, everybody happy. No cash flow problem there. But on the commercial side, you're at net 30, which turns into 45, which turns into 60. You're dealing with these multi-billion dollar corporations that couldn't care less about you. And so and even if your contact loves you, their bosses and the people in accounting, they don't know you from anybody, right? And so that's been the biggest thing is getting more dialed in on the financial processes side to be able to manage cash flow, manage expenditures, and be able to make sure we're doing everything right on that regard. That's been the biggest area where I've been working overtime and learning how to juggle that and make adjustments and make everything work. And that's not a secret. I mean, we just had a meeting last week with the leadership team about it of here's tension points, here's how we can adjust it. Let's see if it worked. And then yesterday on Monday, we looked at last week and we went, well, by goodness, look at that. It worked. And so we're going to keep doing that, and that's going to help our cash flow problem. Great, problem solved. You know what I mean?
How are you going about acquiring these commercial clients?
It's all relational. Commercial clients are not, I mean, to get them in Google is, for me, in my experience, is very hard. Like you're just, because Google, you're just dragging a net and hope you catch the right thing. And you can dial in on keywords as much as you want. But even then, you're still just going to get people who just don't get it. Whereas if you're in person, you're dropping off cookies, you're meeting them at trade shows, you're meeting them in their professional organizations. I'm a part of one of the organizations where all these property managers go to get their continuing education credits for their real estate licenses. They have to be there. I choose to be there, but I get to create relationships with them in person so that they know when somebody dumps 100 tires, tires aren't a great example, but when somebody dumps whatever on their property or a tenant moves out and they leave 300 cubicles, great. I know Taylor can help. I'll just call him. And so we've been pursuing that, and by we I mean me. That's been my biggest contribution to the business this year is pursuing those relationships one at a time, one on one, forever and ever. Amen. And then now it's building structures around like how do I get better at meeting setting? How do I get some people to help me set meetings so I'm not always doing that? And then who do I know? Like a great potential route for us to gain those particular customers we want is who are the other junk guys in our area who have the customers we want, and maybe they don't want to haul junk for forever. Because if we can create some sort of an agreement where now we take care of their customers and give them a little kickback, then everybody wins. So we've got 5 companies in our area right now on a program like that. Last year, we won best junk removal in our county. The number 3 spot on that list is somebody that we do all the work for. So we actually won first and third.
Okay. I see.
So if somebody calls them, they're going to get a green shirt showing up.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
If you had a magic wand to instantly improve any part of your business, what would it be?
To drop $300,000 in my operating account. I mean, that'd be awesome, right? That's probably not the answer you're looking for. Um, the biggest thing for me probably would be figuring out how to implant in the minds in all of the guys the best way to make decisions. Because I give my guys a tremendous amount of latitude every day. They do not call in after every job. They don't have to. Like, and I even just got a message while we're sitting here. A crew switched jobs because they determined in the field that it would save them 30 minutes of driving. So they just throw it back and forth. And a tremendous amount of the time, that's great. But then there are times, like yesterday, we had a guy out till 8:30 because he made an adjustment on his own schedule, didn't tell anybody. It was not a good decision for routing. And then now he's all tired because he worked, 13 and a half hours yesterday. It's like, well, that would have been 11 hours if you would have not made that decision. But that's okay. Like, I give them the latitude, and that comes with a certain amount of risk. But yeah, if I could help them with that, that would be great. And that's something we try to do through our operational management structure. But of course, the guys have to ask. Like, we can't help them if they don't ask. So it's teaching them when to ask.
How do you plan on getting that across to them?
A big part of it, the thing we take a lot of advantage of during winter when things do slow down is going back to training. So we'll do sales training. We'll do training about even in our morning meetings about particular operational things. It's just a lot easier to actually keep the training up during winter because we're not under the gun to get out the door by 8 to go be at a customer's by 8:30. And so, yeah, that'll be the biggest thing is creating training models for that. And then we're also working on writing SOPs to back all those things up. And our long-term goal is to feed all of our SOPs once they're done into um, an AI format, and then we can make ourselves an up and away GPT. And that way, the answers to questions are easily searchable and findable for anybody in the team.
Yeah. Yeah, that's getting pretty common now with many, many companies.
Yeah,
It turns out to be very useful because that alleviates a lot of the leadership team
yeah,
for, because it can eat up a lot of time on the leadership side.
yep,
Is there
yep.
any process that feels outdated or inefficient currently?
Oh, good question. Um, our vehicle maintenance process could probably be more automated.
Okay.
Um, because I mean, a lot of times I mean, obviously the guys at the beginning of the day checklist, they put in mileage of each vehicle, but like making sure that every mileage target for the next oil change gets updated every time is tough. And
Mm.
now thankfully my ops guys, they keep a great handle on it, but half of the time it's like, oh, I jumped in this truck and noticed it's 500 miles away from an oil change, and then they just get it scheduled. But it would be great if we could create a better system to be able to automatically do that. I think our fleet tracking software might do some of that, so I probably just need to look. Um, so that'd probably be one. Probably our like expense reporting and all that stuff for the guys. It's probably a little simplistic. I mean, it's literally just like send pictures of the receipt to the accountant and she'll figure it out. It's like, well, we could probably make that a lot easier on everybody if we wanted to.
Got it. How do you currently incorporate feedback into the business from customers?
Well, so we ask well, obviously we ask for reviews. We do 3 or 4 touch points with that for every customer. Um, and then 10 days after any project for a customer, they get a text where we ask them the Net Promoter Score question. So 0 to 10, how likely are you to refer us to your friends and family? And then there we're able to see if there's anything we did that was subpar, we can fix it. The other thing we do too is instead of sending them straight to Google to leave a review, the link actually takes them to a hidden review page on our website where they can then
Mhm.
call if there's any problems. And then if they're a big repeat customer, well, they don't have to leave Google. They can go to Facebook or Nextdoor or whatever and leave a review. Thankfully, we don't have a lot of issues with that. We normally we might get 3 or 4 reviews a year that are not even. We might get 2 reviews a year that are 3 stars or less. And we normally get
Nice.
about 20 a week.
That's a very good process that you mentioned earlier. I actually did that with my last business. Is there any other process like that that you've implemented that's made a big difference?
I mean, having the review generation automated has been a big difference. Having the weekly reporting that we do as a leadership team has made a huge difference because now we have our finger on the pulse of real numbers um, that are relatively close. There's my ops manager. I told you somebody was going to walk in. So having that reporting easily available has been great. Other systems, we have a like a CRM that's separate from like what we dispatch everybody on. It's called Levitate. So we do a lot of emailing and texting campaigns and all that kind of stuff through there. I mean, we've been with them right at a year and we've sent over 120,000 contact points to our customers. So that really helps us keep in touch with people. I mean, to me, it's like, it's insane that most, like not most, but a lot of junk removal guys that are kind of smaller, they just don't take emails from their customers, like at all. It's
Interesting.
like for us, it's huge. Like we picked up a job today that one of our competitors didn't want to do. He sent it to us. We scheduled him for tomorrow. I said, "Great, can I have her email?" He said, "I don't have it." I was like, "Why? Why would you not have it?" It's like the easiest way to retarget somebody. Don't blow them up, but once a month, send them something, make it interesting and engaging. We send joke emails, which is an idea we stole from another competitor of ours we're friendly competition. And we just subject is setup, body is punchline, no sales pitch, no discount. It's setup, punchline, have a great day from up, and away. 100% open every time, zero unsubscribes every time.
Nice.
It's like the easiest thing.
Where do you see up, and away a year from now? And what does that goal mean for you?
Yeah, so a year from now. My goal next year is over this year and the remainder of this year and next year is to really grow that commercial side. Um, the thing I'd probably like to try would be seeing like okay, what other, obviously how many other commercial clients can we get because that creates repeat revenue. And then how can we get super creative on how we acquire those customers and how we retain them? Because for a regular retail customer, the average ticket is just under $500. And most retail customers only want to see you once ever, if not once a year, and once a year if you're lucky, right? So it's like I cannot spend $100 to acquire that client. But on the the commercial side, if we expect that this industry on average does 10 grand a year with us, well, we can spend a couple $100 to get that person on. Let's do something fun and cool for them. And then figuring out, okay, how can we really make the most of, selling to the customers we already have in that context? So what that'll probably mean is it might slightly slow down growth of what we expect from our residential side, but I think long term, um, it's going to be really good for us. And so that would be the goal, to build that to really create an opportunity to stabilize cash flow and set ourselves up for long-term success with these customers. And then we can go back to pushing retail and all that stuff, hard, because then it'll be nothing but gravy and not something we're really needing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think is the biggest challenge that's standing in between you and that goal?
Systematizing the business development. Um, I've my business development has always been an outgrowth of my own personality, but that's not something that can continue indefinitely without me. So like right now, the business runs without me. If jobs are on the schedule, they will all happen and I am not required, right? But the business won't yet grow without me. So creating systems for business growth is what I'm really focused on. And I have a guy who does some part-time BD work for me. He's a team lead and then he'll do some business development work. So he and I are working together of like, how do we cultivate meaningful lists? How do we contact those lists? What's the next step for them? What's the lead magnet type of offer for them? And then when we create that in-person meeting, what do we do? What do we give them? How do we nurture that? And once they are a customer, how do we make sure we're staying in touch with them on a consistent cycle if they're not using us every week or two, so that we're always top of mind for them. And my goal is in developing that with him is that we'll be able to, one, systematize it, and two, he'll be able to pick up the ball and run with it as we're getting into next year, so that the business is starting to pick up these high value commercial relationships without me being involved. Because once that happens, now this business can really run itself. And all I got to do at that point is promote somebody to general manager, get them on the bank account, and teach them how to run payroll. And then, like, we good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What is one thing you hope to be better at personally?
I hope to be better at my children. I'm a Christian. I spend a lot of time with the Lord trying to navigate what it means to be patient and to see whatever my wife and my kids are going through, that they're stressed out about, that they're upset about. I mean, my kids are 2 and 3. They're not stressed out about anything. They're happy or they're pissed. But it's like whatever's going on with them is equally as important as whatever is going on with me. And because they're children and my job is to serve them, because she's my wife and my job is to serve her, they get to take precedence. And I do not need to be needy, even if on this particular season of our lives, I'm the one that's carrying the majority of the burden. That doesn't matter, man. Jesus came to serve the people that he loves so much that he was willing to die for them. So am I willing to follow Jesus' example, spend time with the Father and trust him for the strength and be able to serve my family with everything that I've got and not be worried about, oh no, I didn't get enough me time today. Forget that. I've got a family to serve. And so that really is the biggest thing that I'm trying to grow in personally, is learning how to really be 100% for my family when I'm there. Because one of the hard things about junk hauling, and I said it all throughout the pandemic, but there's no work from home junk hauling. You got to get out there and do it. And so I'm out a lot. And so when I'm home, I need to be fully home, fully invested in being present with those that matter the most, obviously, which is my family.
Is that a heavy reason for you being good on delegating and your business goals, for having those business goals?
Yeah, I mean that's a big part of it. When my first kid was born, I was gone a lot. I mean, the first year of her life, I was still working 12 to 14-hour days outside of the house every day. So I missed a lot of it. And so, I didn't like that. And our second kid was born 18 months after she was born. So I had, my wife at this point was 5 months pregnant with our son, who was our second kid, and I had to let go my team lead, who was kind of like my right-hand man at the time because it just wasn't working out. I should have let him go a lot sooner, but I didn't. And I told her, I said, look, I'm going to be in the truck all summer for at least a couple of months. This was May when I let him go. I said, because I will not hire somebody until I can really trust them and really delegate to them. And I worked every day in the truck as a team leader all summer with my wife and baby at home, and she's pregnant. We had just moved. No, we hadn't just moved yet, thank God. But she's dealing with all that. And I told her by August, if I don't find my guy, we're just going to scale back. Period. And in July, literally, it's like the Lord sent me a guy that I could trust that was awesome. And I was able to stay home. And I realized if I want to be able to have this with my family, now that my oldest is old enough to notice that I'm not there, and my youngest is right behind her, I've got to give things away to the guys and let them do it. And the other side of the coin is when I don't, when I'm constantly checking up on them and questioning them because I don't trust them or I haven't given them the right process to follow, they feel belittled. Well, I don't want to belittle anybody. I want to be on a team of rockers. My job on the team is to be the coach of the team, but we're still all on the team together. And so I want them to have leeway to go be the star player that they are.
If you were to start over, what are a few things you would change?
Uh, Good question. I would save more money. That rainy day fund would be great, having that more stocked up. And I'd be a lot more articulate about my goals each year for the business in a very broad category. For the longest time, my spoken goal was always grow as big as possible, as fast as possible. But what was actually happening on paper is I was taking a lot of the money home because like my wife hasn't worked in 4 years. I'm supporting a wife and kids and a mortgage and doing the stuff that everybody does. It's nothing exceptional, right? But like because of that, I can't just live on like 2 grand a month, which a lot of business owners, when they're in that building phase, they're bootstrapping it at home to build the business. Well, I'm like, listen, if the baby needs diapers, we're going to pay for the diapers. And if I got to take a little more out of the business to do that, then we do that. So, I mean, for 5 years, I was going, and I do not live lavishly by any means. I mean, my wife drives a 25-year-old Expedition. But like we're taking care of the family and paying, and we pay for vacation and do stuff like that, and we're growing super fast. I didn't have my goals in practice aligned with my goals that I was verbalizing. And so that's where some of the stuff of like, oh, when a cash flow difficulty comes, it's like now I understand why people normally do one of these things at a time. And so just having that really clear would have been super helpful for me way back then. And then also developing a more robust framework for when to grow, meaning assets and people, when to add assets, when to add staff, and why. For such a long time, it was just like, seems like we need another truck, and this one's a good deal. Like, well, that's not a great way to make decisions. You know what I mean? I need a better framework, and I should have pursued more mentorship for that.
Okay. I have one last question for you. I don't want to take too much of your time, Taylor.
I'm having a great time, man. This is awesome.
What advice would you give to somebody who's just starting out today in your industry?
As quickly as possible, or preferably just never get on it, but as quickly as possible, wean yourself from Mother Google. Doesn't mean don't use Google. It doesn't mean never take out a Google ad. It just means don't give another company complete control over yours. You have to have a strategy to develop your customer base that is independent of Google because there's all sorts of reasons Google doesn't like things and you don't want to be beholden to them. We put up a post today about hot tub removal and it was immediately removed from our Google business profile and we have no clue why. It's like if we do three or four of those, what are they going to do? They're going to freeze the profile, right? And that's the way it works. So it's like, okay. And it literally said that was easy. And it's a picture of a hot tub and then a hot tub gone. I have no idea how we violated a guideline, right? It's like, are you kidding me? But we did, you know? So having those other relationships is huge. The other thing I would say too is remember if you're starting in junk removal, this is not a tech startup. The goal is not to do this for a year or two and then go buy, a nice fancy house and a nice fancy car and check out and just let it run without you. You're starting a very blue collar business. Nobody in junk removal is turning into a billionaire other than maybe the owner of 1-800 Got Junk, maybe, right? And they are the biggest in the industry. They're the guys who invented the industry, right? So, you know, it's okay. Just relax. You know, every business owner I've met in this industry that I really look up to, the things that drive them are family, community involvement, creating an awesome team and environment for their guys and their gals that work for them, doing right by those people in their community, and making a difference in really difficult situations that are normally dirty, disgusting, and overwhelming. And I think the world needs more people like that. And as much as I would love to say that all of those people should be billionaires, it ain't going to happen. It's very unlikely that it would happen, right? But the world still needs them. And if you can make enough money to take care of your family, take care of your team, put away something for retirement, create some investments, like that's a huge win. Congratulations, you've done it. You're living the American dream. Go out there and enjoy getting dirty and taking care of people.
Taylor, thank you so much for jumping on this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. This was great. I always love getting to do stuff like this.
Absolutely. How can people connect with you or learn more about your business?
LinkedIn is great. My LinkedIn is A Taylor Chastain. My first name's Austin. Nobody calls me that, but A Taylor Chastain's great. Follow us on social media. Obviously, my guy does all of it, but I'm just as in it with the messages as everybody. And then you can friend me on Facebook too. I think it's the same, A Taylor Chastain. And if you go to my business page, I always repost half of my stuff anyways, so it's easy to find me. And I'd always love to connect. I love talking to people in the industry or in blue collar industries just about like what's going on. You know, there's a lot of companies they're like, how do I get from 300 to 500,000? How do I get from 500 to a million? It's like, I'd love to talk with you about those things. Those things are fun. If you want to know how to go from 1 million to 5 million, me too, brother. We're working on it, but I'd love to learn the things you're learning. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Taylor, thank you so much once again.
Dude, thank you, Marvin. This was great.